Hi everyone, welcome to today's session. As part of this session, we will be seeing one of the important use case which you as a BW on HANA consultant will work on. So that is, assume that we have an use case wherein we have one of the table present at HANA layer under a particular schema. Obviously, you know, if at all your BW system is working on HANA database, then we call that system as BW on HANA, right? So in HANA layer also we have an option to get the data from other SAP systems or non-SAP system via SLT, SDI or even loading a flat file. Assume that your BW system is running on HANA and in HANA level the data is present in one of the table present under one of the schema called S1. It can be anything, right? So now what we wanted to do is I am going to create a open ODSO view at BW layer. As you are aware, what is the use of open ODSO view? I wanted to consume open ODSO view. Using open ODSO view, we can consume the data present at table of HANA, means table which is present at HANA layer. And as you are aware, open ODSO view can also be created on data source or transformation and many other sources. As of now, as part of this session, we are just limiting ourselves to the scenario that open ODSO view based on one of the table present under a schema. For this, you might be already aware, we should have a source system connected between at the BW layer, which is pointing to what? Your HANA schema. How exactly you can see that? You can go to your BW on HANA system, and at HANA system you should have a source system connection created by your SAP basis team, and that has to pointing to one of the schema. Okay, so let me go to the source system. If you see over here, there is a folder called SAP Hana. Under this, there should be a source system created which is pointing to one of the schema. If you go over here and there's a source system called ZSOUR underscore ECC which is pointing to the schema ECC underscore table. Right click and click on connection parameter, you will be able to see the property. This is the technical name of the source system and this is pointing to ECC table schema which is there in the backend. Okay, so now you should have that working connection between your BW layer and HANA specific schema. And also as a safety side, you can right click and check the connection whether it is working perfectly fine or not. You see over here source system connection is okay, meaning system connection is fine. Now what I have done, have created a open ODSO view which is based on EKKO table of your Z source underscore ECC, meaning this Z source underscore ECC is pointing to ECC table schema, right? I created, it's a simple scenario, but while activation, it is throwing me an privilege error. So this kind of error you will generally notice in your productive environment or even in development environment in your project, because you might be the first person to start working on this kind of scenario, meaning consuming HANA object, the native HANA objects such as tables at a BW layer or BW objects such as even data source or open ODS view. This is very common error. So now what this error talks about, this says insufficient privilege, failed to create a scenario, user is not authorized. So when you try to activate an open ODSO view, what will happen? There will be a owner of our BW system. You can go to BW on HANA system. From the systems tab, you can go to status. Under status, you see over here, there is a owner called SAP A4H. This particular owner or this ID is the owner of this SAP BW on HANA system. Any backend activation, everything will be done by this. So when I try to activate a open ODSO view, which I created in BW perspective of HANA Studio, what it is saying, this particular user is not having enough authorization to access the table. Why table? Because for my open ODSO view, this is the source. Now in order to fix this issue, what you have to do, log into your HANA perspective, go to your catalog. What we have to do, you have to click on SQL console. Actually, this activity I am showing you right now, but ideally we will not have enough authorization to do this. You have to ask your security team to execute this T code. Meaning, I should ensure the owner of this BW on HANA system, this user ID is having select authorization on which schema, ECC underscore table schema, because my open ODS of view is based on the table present under ECC underscore table schema. Okay, what I have to do, I have to use a statement called grant. Grant statement used to grant an authorization. Grant select on schema. What is the schema name? ECC underscore. You can just drag and drop any of the schema and then you can alter it. ECC underscore tables tables for who is the user? You can use SAP A4H with grant. So we have to execute this syntax. Grant select on schema for, I believe we may have to add user comment. Let's see. Okay, for user. Okay. So as I was saying, we have to use a grant command to grant an authorization, and the command what I am going to show you is not being executed by BW consultant. You have to contact your security consultant, because maybe in development you might have authorization, but in pre-prod, prod and quality you may not have this authorization. Okay, now what is the statement we are supposed to use? The syntax is grant select on schema name to the username with the grant option. OPTION. So execute the command. If you see now the grant, the user SAP A4H, our BW on HANA system user has been granted with select authorization on this particular schema. Now if we go back and try to activate our open ODS view, it should get activated. You see now it got activated. Earlier it was not getting activated. Got it, guys? You can just refresh your folder to see whether this got activated or not. See, my open ODSO view got activated. So this is very, very important, guys. Okay. And one more important thing to do is, this is one time activity. If you grant an authorization, until and unless somebody revokes, you can access any tables present under this particular schema, which is in our case ECC table schema, for any use case in your system. But one more important thing to remember is, before you move these changes, this open ODS view to the next environment, what all you have to ensure? First thing is you have to contact your basis team to have this source system created pointing to your own schema. Once that is created, what is the next step you have to do? You have to ask your security consultant to run this authorization or grant select on specific schema for that owner of SAP BW on HANA. Once that is done, then only you can move your transport containing open ODSO view, which is built on one of the table present at your HANA layer. If at all you are not having this done, when you move the changes from development to quality, this open ODSO view, system will try to activate using SAP user or SAP owner or BW on HANA system owner. Since that guy is not having an authorization, it will throw the same error. So you have to ensure that even if it fails, you get to know there's an insufficient privilege. Contact security team to do the same thing in development, pre-prod, quality, pre-prod and prod. With that, you can move your changes easily. Hopefully, as part of this video, you got to know if at all there is any issue which you come across whenever you are doing the hybrid modeling related to SAP BW owner's ID, how to tackle that like. Thank you so much guys and have a good one. If you are looking for similar videos, feel free to comment on this video's comment section on which particular video you are looking for. I'll be happy to do the video on the same topic. At the same time, if at all you are looking for online training on SAP ABAP, BW, BW ABAP, BW on HANA, native HANA and HANA related SQL, feel free to reach out to me on my mail ID, that is venugopalmn1988 @gmail.com. Thank you so much and have a good one.